Hola amigos, I'm Spanish Dave, and welcome back to this complete Spanish verb course on VerbMastery.com. If you're watching this from social media or some other place, we invite you to come join us at VerbMastery.com. You can do the lessons for free or log in. And if you're just watching these on VerbMastery.com and haven't logged in, I encourage you to log in because it will help you keep track of your scores, your progress, and everything else. It'll check things off for you and all kinds of great stuff. Today we are in section 2, Spanish infinitives, modals, and conjugation basics. We're going to go to 2.2 here, where we're going to learn how to build simple sentences with modal verbs and infinitives. So first we're going to go right here into instruction. So where we'll learn modal or connector verbs. Go ahead and close the navigation here. Okay, introduction to modal verbs. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs, they're kind of helper verbs that express necessity, possibility, permission, or ability. In Spanish, modal verbs are often used with infinitives to create short, meaningful sentences without conjugating the main verb. This makes expressing complex ideas simpler and more efficient. Let's explore some common modal verbs and see how they're used with infinitives. Here they are, some common modal verbs. The first one is, and these are super, super important and useful. So take note and go ahead and go through the exercises to remember and practice these and so forth. First one is quiero, I want. The next one is necesito, I need. The next one is voy a, I'm going to. Notice the pronunciation. It's not like the English voy, although some countries in Latin America say it that way, but voy a. The V has a hard B in many or most Latin American countries. Voy a, I'm going to. The next one is puedo, I'm able to. Notice the D has kind of a TH sound, puedo. The next one here, debo. Since the D is at the beginning of the word, it doesn't have a TH sound. It's a hard D, debo. It means I must or I should. The next one is prefiero, I prefer. Tengo que, I have to. And me gusta, which means I like. These modal verbs can be combined with any infinitive to create clear, concise sentences. Here are some example sentences with modal verbs. Let's use the following infinitives to create modal verbs, to create actually sentences with the modal verbs. So the first one we're going to learn is bailar, which means to dance, bailar. Beber means to drink, beber. Aprender means to learn, aprender. Now, in Spanish, it's important to say these words aloud. As you're doing them and you're listening to this, say them aloud with me or after me. I'll kind of leave a space so you can do that now. The next one is cantar. Cantar means to sing. The next one is estudiar. Estudiar means to study. Notice the D has a TH sound here, estudiar. Next one is leer. Leer means to read. Next one, trabajar. Trabajar means to work. Notice the R has a little bit of you trip your tongue a little bit. Trabajar. The next one is viajar, to travel, viajar. And it has a hard V in most Latin American countries. The next one is pensar, pensar, which means to think. And the last one is almorzar, almorzar, which means to have lunch. Okay, now we're going to combine the modal verbs with these other verbs, right? Ready? Here we go. First one, we're going to do querer, I want. Quiero bailar, I want to dance. Quiero bailar. The next one is quiero aprender. Quiero aprender, I want to learn. The next one is necesito, I need. Necesito beber agua. I need to drink water. Necesito beber agua. The next one is necesito estudiar. I need to study. Necesito estudiar. Next one is voy a. I'm going to. Remember that V in most Latin American countries has a hard B. Voy. So ready? Voy a cantar. I am going to sing. Voy a cantar. Voy a viajar. I'm going to travel. Voy a viajar. Remember to repeat these aloud. It will help it connect in your brain more as you're using different parts of the brain, not just to read it, but to pronounce it. The next one is the next modal verb or connector verb is puedo. So I am able to. Puedo. It also means can. I can. Okay, examples are puedo leer. Puedo leer. I am able to read. Puedo trabajar. Puedo trabajar. I'm able to work. Now, you might have somebody next to you listening to you learn Spanish, and they might think you're a little crazy because you're saying words aloud, but just tell them you're practicing Spanish and that you're gaining a second language here. So, and how important that is. All right, next one is debo. Next connecting word is debo. I must, I should. It also means I ought to. Okay. So, the first one, debo pensar en esto. Debo pensar en esto means I must think about this. And after that, debo estudiar para el examen. Debo estudiar para el examen. I should study for the exam. Next one is prefiero. I prefer. Prefiero bailar. Prefiero bailar. I prefer to dance. Prefiero leer. Prefiero leer. I prefer to read. Next one is tengo que. I have to. Tengo que. Tengo que trabajar mañana. Tengo que trabajar mañana. I have to work tomorrow. Remember to repeat these after me. Tengo que almorzar ahora. Tengo que almorzar ahora. I have to eat lunch now. Moving on. Me gusta. I like. Me gusta cantar. Me gusta cantar. I like to sing. Me gusta viajar. Me gusta viajar. I like to travel. Now notice the V here, when it comes after the A, has a little bit of a lighter sound. You don't do teeth to lip, you still do lip to lip, but it's just a dusty V. So the lips don't actually touch. Me gusta viajar. Viajar. They get very close to touching. All right, conclusion. Using modal verbs with infinitives is a fundamental aspect of Spanish that allows you to express a wide range of ideas with ease. By mastering these common modal verbs, you'll improve your ability to communicate effectively and naturally in Spanish. Keep practicing by combining these modal verbs with various infinitives and enjoy your journey of learning Spanish. Next, practice them. I'm going to, again, reopen the navigation. I'm going to mark complete here. And you'll notice here, I put a little check mark on the left. It does this because I am logged in. So that is it. Thanks for joining me on this lesson, and join me on the next one.